Welcome to the first. You have a story. If you look back on your life, you've done things for the first time that no one in your family, in your town, in the country has done. This is Dr. Sandi. You have unknowingly paved the way for others without knowing it or even acknowledging it. This is where you tell your story so that those who come after you can walk in your footsteps to build their own firsts. Today, joining us from Dublin, Ireland, is Laura Rinnankoski, a trailblazer in her family. Laura is the first person in her family to achieve an impressive array of accolades, including 6 prestigious awards, gracing the covers of 3 major magazines, and being featured in 2 best-selling books. But that's the tip of the iceberg. Laura's story begins in Finland, where she was born, but her life took a fascinating turn when her family moved to Venezuela when she was just 5 months old. In a twist of fate, Laura experienced snow for the first time, not in her native Finland, but in the Venezuelan Andes atop the majestic Pico Espejo, or the Mirror Peak. That unique experience is just one of many in Laura's life. Not only is she the first in her family to have appeared on TV, radio, magazines, and newspapers, but her journey is a testament to the power of embracing new cultures and new experiences, and she has never lived in Finland since her family moved to Venezuela. Laura's story is one of breaking barriers and redefining what it means to be a global citizen. So, without further ado, let's welcome the incredible Laura Rinnankoski to the show. You can learn more about her journey and work by visiting her website at laurarinnankowski.com or reach out to her directly at lauracoaching@gmail.com. Hey, everybody, this is Dr. Sandi, and we're here with the first podcast with Dr. Sandi. And today, my guest is Laura Rinnan. You got to say this.
Rinnankoski.
Laura Rinnankowski. And Laura was born in Finland, raised in Venezuela, a child of the world. So tell us all about that, Laura. Tell us what you do and your background.
Thanks. Thanks so much, Dr. Sandi. It's such a pleasure to be here with you today. Thank you so much for this opportunity. So yeah, I was born in Finland. When I was 5 months old, my family moved to Venezuela. So I grew up in Venezuela and I went to international American schools there. And then I studied university in Boston, then Miami, and now I'm in Dublin, Ireland. So I'm a citizen of the world.
Oh my gosh. Every time you say Venezuela, you say it with a Spanish accent.
Yes, yes. I still have the Venezuelan accent. I'm always gonna have that.
All the other words are perfectly English, and then all of a sudden you say Venezuela.
Venezuela. Exactly.
Oh, how did you wind up being born in Finland and going to Venezuela? What's with that?
Yeah, so all my family's from Finland. My mom and my dad are from Finland. My dad's job transferred us to Venezuela. He worked for a Swedish industrial gases company. So at the beginning, we were supposed to stay 1 or 2 years, but then we ended up staying. My dad is still in Venezuela.
Oh, really?
He's still there. Yeah, now he has both nationalities. He's Finnish and Venezuelan now. So
do you go back and visit family there?
Well, I go back to Finland. I haven't been back to Venezuela in a really long time. I remember the old Venezuela before Chavez. Basically, yeah, like I remember the golden age of Venezuela where I grew up, which is a very different country than it is now, So yeah, I haven't been back in a really long time.
I've never been to Venezuela.
Yeah, it's a beautiful country. It's so beautiful.
I can imagine.
It has everything. It has beaches, mountains, the desert, yeah.
I can only imagine, but I've not really gone to South America or that side of the world much. Like
Okay.
Costa Rica,
Mm. Yeah.
but I've not done Asia
Hmm.
and South America.
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, there's so much to see, right?
I know, I know, in so much time. So tell me all your firsts, Laura. You seem to have a lot.
Yeah, well, it's funny because you mentioned Asia, right? So my first trip to Asia was to India 2 years ago when I got my first magazine cover, which is actually here. This is my first magazine cover. I was on the Passion Vista magazine, and they picked 50 women leaders to look up to in 2023. I was one of the 50 women that they picked. And I went to Goa, India, to the awards ceremony, which was an amazing experience because first it was my birthday. First I celebrated my birthday. Then it was the award ceremony, where I got this magazine cover and then met all the other women as well. And then it was the Holi festival the following day. So all of that happened in one week in India. So it was like the most amazing trip. It was like an inner and outer journey. So it was really, really amazing.
I love India, but I have
Yeah.
so many places to visit that I keep saying, I'm going to come back here. We went to this amazing resort, and I'm like, I'm coming back here, but there are other amazing resorts that I haven't been to. So just
Yeah.
keeping a note of mine. And tell us about
Yeah.
your books.
Yes, I have. I'm in two best-selling books. So it's me and 18 other coaches in these books. And we write about difficult moments that we've been through and what we learned in the process and how we got to the other side. So the first one is called Quiet and Badass. I'm not quiet, but I am a badass.
I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah. And then the second one is called Burned. Here they are. So this is the first one. This is
Right.
this
Badass.
Yeah,
Right.
quiet and badass. Yeah, I'm not quiet, but I am I am a badass. So it's quiet and badass, visionary women embracing their uniqueness to create epic impact. This one came out 2 years ago. This was the first book. And my chapter is the first one, and it's called Unstoppable Citizen of the World.
Nice.
Because that's what I feel like.
And it just describes what you told me.
Yeah, yeah. And I write about some difficult moments that I've been through, and what I learned in the process and how I got to the other side. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? So
I'm gonna look that up. I'm gonna put that on my Audible. Is it on
it's
Audible?
it's on Amazon.
Oh,
And it's 18 of us in this book. And the women, they're American, Canadian, South African, Australian, and then me in Ireland. So yeah, it's very international and it's full of amazing stories.
I'm going to get that.
Yeah, I think you would
I
like this
have
one.
I have points in my Amazon thing. These are
Okay.
my credits.
Yeah, that's great. And then this is the second one.
Burned.
This one is called Burned, brave and inspiring stories from women who have overcome their fears to speak their truth and share their wisdom.
And does that describe you?
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah.
You were once afraid to speak your truth?
Yeah, I mean, I've always spoken, but I think that there are certain things that I've been afraid to speak about.
Okay.
So yeah, I've been speaking my whole life, but now I feel like more free to really express myself, right? So that's been a journey as well. So this book, this is another inspiring book, and it's 18 of us in this one too. So 18 is the magic number.
Your number? Maybe next
18
time
is the magic number for these books,
I'll make up one of the 18 the next time.
right?
Then I actually have been in a book that was shared. It was The Immigrant Hustle. It was talking about people who are immigrants who came to this country and what drives them to be successful.
Okay,
There
okay.
were probably about 20 people in that book, men and women.
Oh, okay.
Quite a good mix. That
Yeah.
was interesting. But Peggy and I have our own book, Black and White Striped Gold, that we wrote about the business, our time in the business, and things we learned that no one told us about
Right, right.
that happened to us. And we put that out in 2007 or 8. Probably
Right.
a little earlier than that. I don't know.
No, no, so those books sound amazing as well. And specifically in this book, we talk about it's all about claiming your power, right? All about claiming your voice and your power. Because many times as women, it's like women have been conditioned to stay quiet, don't speak your truth, be nice and pretty and quiet, right?
That
So
was
this,
never me, though.
sorry?
That was never me.
Exactly. Me neither. So this is all about claiming your voice and taking your power back.
And a lot of women do need to just hear that.
Exactly.
Some of them think they're doing it, and at the last minute, they're like, "No, I don't. I didn't say anything." Have you ever been in a meeting and they're talking about someone, and you're like, "Just speak up, just say something," and
Yeah.
they're quietly, man or woman, and I
Yeah.
always wonder why is that?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just a big loud mouth, but I rarely sit quietly and listen. All
Yeah.
right. So I'm still looking at all these amazing furs, and you have the first to see snow in your family,
The first one to see snow in
Venezuela.
yeah,
I didn't know it
exactly.
snowed. I didn't know it snowed in Venezuela.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure that I'm the only Finnish person in the world
Mhm.
that has seen snow for the first time in Venezuela because because I was born in Finland and I was 5 months old when we went to Venezuela. Yeah, so I saw snow for the
Where
first
is it that
time.
it snowed?
So Venezuela has the Venezuela Andes, right? So there's two mountain tops that sometimes have snow, not always, right? So there's a state called Merida in Venezuela, and there's a very long cable car that goes to the top of a mountain called Pico Espejo, which means like mirror peak, right? So sometimes there's snow there, and then it's next to Pico Bolivar, which is the liberator of Venezuela and half of South America. So in these two peaks, it snows sometimes. So that's where I saw snow for the first time in Venezuela.
How high is that mountain? I mean, I know after a certain level, then when it
Yeah,
just gets cold
yeah,
up at the altitude that you're going.
yeah. I don't remember now off the top of my head, but
Yeah,
it
I
is
just
it
never
is
thought of
high.
that.
It is high.
So I'm sure there's snow sometimes on like Kilimanjaro in Africa.
Yeah.
You never really think of warm climates having snow.
Having snow, exactly.
On
Yeah, no, it's very unusual. That's why when I tell people that I saw snow for the first time in Venezuela, they're like, "What? I can't believe it."
I know. But you've seen plenty of snow afterwards, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, but actually, like I spent my first real winter was in Boston when I was 18. So I think that those two things, seeing snow for the first time in Venezuela and experiencing my first winter in Boston
Real
at
snow.
18, I think I'm pretty sure that I'm the only Finnish person in the world that can say that.
Oh my gosh. I remember, I don't remember the first time I saw snow, but I remember as a little kid versus now.
Yeah,
School never closed. This was back in the dark ages when I went to school. Schools never gave days off.
right. No snow
Now,
day.
no such thing. If it snowed, it just snows. You just had more time to play, right?
Yeah,
Just go outside for recess
yeah,
and we would play in the snow.
yeah, yeah.
Now, every day, every other day, it seems like school is closing.
For something, right?
We didn't have all these holidays. We didn't have all this stuff. And
Yeah,
it was fun to go to school when it snowed because we
right.
snowmen. We now these kids
Yeah,
don't do that. They
yeah, exactly. Times have changed.
yeah, they don't go outside when the school is closed when it snows here now,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they
yeah.
don't go outside. I haven't seen a snowman in I don't know how long.
Aw.
I discuss it. They wait until it gets yellow and horrible, and then they go out. But no.
Yeah.
So your family, how does your family react to all of this? I know some families like, oh, she thinks she's Ms. So-so, but obviously you are if you're on the covers. What do your family say about all the
Um,
first you're racking up?
yeah, no, my family is very supportive. My family's very supportive. So, like I'm lucky that way. that my family is supportive, and I think that, anytime that you get any kind of exposure, whether it's, magazine covers or TV, radio, like all the media, I think you have to look at it for what it is, right? Like, yeah, it's great exposure and you get to reach a lot of people, right? Like with
Yeah.
a positive message. But it's good to keep things in perspective as well, right? Yeah.
Not to become the person on the cover, the prima donna, the
Yeah, like I'm more than that, right? Like I'm more than that, right? So I'm still human, I still
Sure.
have, it's not like, you're on the cover of a magazine and then like your life is perfect, right? Like you
That's
still,
right.
yeah,
Some
yeah.
people think that. I think people look at magazines and go, "Oh, she's in a magazine. She must be doing." You could be in a magazine for a bad thing.
That's true.
You could be in a magazine for it's not all roses to be in a
Yeah,
magazine.
exactly. Exactly. It's good to keep things in perspective.
And what's the downside of that? What's the downside of being,
The downside of the media exposure is that like you are exposed to a lot of judgment, right? Because like no matter what you do, right? Like in general in life, no matter what you do, everybody under the sun is going to have an opinion about it, right?
uh,
Some people are going to like it, some people are not going to like it. Everybody's going to have an opinion, and the thing is that you can't control it. You can't control what anybody else thinks about you, right? So the only thing you can do is be yourself, right? And some people are gonna like it and some people aren't gonna like it, and you just have to let it go. You can't control it. So yeah,
there are always naysayers, no matter what.
always.
Gonna say, "Oh, she doesn't deserve to be on the cover. Why is she on the cover?"
Exactly. And you can't control it, you really can't control it. And the more exposure you get, the more criticism and judgment you're gonna get. So you
People
have to
don't
develop
even,
a thick skin.
yes, yes, and people who don't even know you, that's the thing.
Exactly.
They just see
Exactly.
you on a cover and they form an opinion about you. And then when they meet you later, I
Yeah.
met this woman once. I forgot. I was on the cover of Money magazine, right?
Nice. Yeah.
And they did a whole feature of not just me. I was one of two women on
Right.
the cover, and we were the first woman ever put on Money magazine.
Oh,
And it was
amazing.
about
Congratulations.
10 or 15 years later before they put another woman on the cover.
Wow.
And I remember it was in the supermarket, and I walked up to the register,
Yeah.
and there was a woman in front of me, and
Yeah.
I looked at him like, "Oh, that's
Me
me."
on the cover.
I didn't say it out loud, but I was a little shocked because they had sent me one image.
Yeah.
And this woman looked at the magazine and then she turned around, looked at me. She looked at the magazine,
Like, is that you?
but she didn't say that. She just did like a very nasty, like rolling her eyes, kind of. I'm like,
Hey,
what the? I don't even know this woman. Look,
exactly.
don't I have the right to buy milk or eggs, at the supermarket?
Wow. Yeah.
But people do make negative judgments sometimes, and
I do. And you can't control it. That's the thing. Like it's such an exercise in like non-attachment, right? Because you can't control it. Like you can't control what anybody else will think about anything that you do, whether it's being on the cover of a magazine or anything that you do, right?
true, very true.
Yeah.
How are you sharing all this knowledge, Laura? Yeah, I mean, you've gained a lot. I mean, as a coach, you certainly hear a lot and learn a lot
Yes.
about people. And how do you give that back to
Yeah.
others?
How do I give it back? Well, in so many ways. By talking to people about my experiences, by writing about it, like all, by sharing all the content that I've written, and by doing lots of interviews, doing lots of interviews as well. I love doing these type of interviews. Done lots of interviews, on radio, TV, and just I love helping and inspiring people, especially people that are going through like a difficult moment, going through times of transition. There's lots of changes happening in the world now, right? Lots of big times of transition now. So I know what it's like. I know what it's like to go through massive change, right? I know that it can be a very difficult journey. So I love helping people, go through those transitions and those changes.
So being a coach, you're part therapist as well.
Yeah, like you. We both do the same thing, right?
Yeah, you literally have to be a therapist because you're going to hear the good things when, exciting things happen. And then
Exactly.
on the reverse side, business is horrible and the person gets depressed and you
Yeah,
have to talk them out of that. So it's the same kind of environment. It's interesting being a coach, I find.
it really is.
You wear
Yeah,
many hats, many
exactly.
for sure. So,
Exactly.
how do you plan on impacting the next generation of people that's coming, or the next generation of coaches who are going to be out here, and
Yeah.
women in general? That's
Like women in particular. Well, I think that one thing that's happening now, right? I think now is the time that the divine feminine energies are rising, right? But it's not about the divine feminine energies, being better than the masculine energies. It's about bringing balance, right? Because as we know, the masculine energies have been running the show, right, for a long time. So now the feminine energies are rising to bring balance to those masculine energies, right? So I think that now is a time to work on that, and that's actually something that I talk about a lot, and I write about a lot actually in both books. I write about that.
about the masculine and feminine energy.
Yeah, but
Okay.
finding balance between those energies. Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
The masculine one's running rampant right now.
I
Just
know. Yeah, that's why the feminine energy has to come in and bring balance, right,
yeah.
to those energies. Yeah,
But we have to take the opportunity to bring that in when it presents itself to us. We have to
exactly.
understand that and say, hey, this is why we're, as women, this is why we need to do certain things now in this world. Because
Yes.
I don't know how long this will last for, but it's already tough. It's a short time, but it's already tough.
Exactly. And I think that the more balanced these energies are, the better, the better it's going to be, because I think any extreme is bad, right? Any extreme is bad. So I think that finding that balance is the key.
I agree with you with that.
Yeah.
So I know that you've done so much to inspire people and to even inspire me. Some of the stuff you said, I don't know.
Thank you.
Maybe I
Well,
should put
likewise, I mean, I'm so inspired by you.
Oh my gosh. Wanderlust is one of my favorite things. I wish I had the time to just do nothing but just travel, just all over
Yeah.
the world. I would have my own private jet. And Laura, would you like to go to?
Yeah, let's go to Bali.
Yeah, yeah. We could do this interview in Bali,
Yeah,
right?
imagine. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Having been the first, did anyone inspire you? Like, did you look at someone and say, oh, I could be like that person, or I like the way that this Oprah was one of the people who inspired me.
Yeah. Yeah. Oprah has definitely been an inspiration for me as well. And in the coaching industry, Jack Canfield has been
Yes.
an inspiration for me. And I got to meet him. I met
Oh,
him, imagine, I met him in 2008, right? Like, I mean,
wow.
a long time ago. And it was funny because I went to an event and then I got to talk to him afterwards. And then it was really funny because before meeting him, I was thinking to myself, what do I say to him? I'm going to meet Jack Canfield. Like, I have to say something really profound to him, right?
What
Yeah,
did
exactly. I'm like, am I going to say something about the chicken soup, chicken soup for the soul boat?
oh,
Like, what am I going to say, right? So then when I went up to him, and it was so funny because I feel like this came out of my soul, like my soul was speaking through me, right? So I went up to him and I was like, "Hi, my name is Laura, and I have a very big mission, mission in my life, right?" And I was like, "What?" And then he was like,
take over from Jack Canfield?
yes, yeah, exactly. And he was like, really? Okay, well, tell me more about it, right? And I was like, oh my God, Jack Canfield is asking me what my mission in life is. What am I going to
Yes.
say, right?
Did
And
you
then
look
I
it
said to
up?
him, yeah. And then I said to him, well, I want to be a very well-known, coach, and I want to have coaching clients, all over the world. I want to help and inspire and coach people all over the world, like what you do. And then he was like, oh, wow, that's an amazing vision. And imagine I told him that. back in 2008, and now I'm doing it. So it actually happened.
Yes. So you were inspired by Jack, and
Yes.
each were inspired you with that. So
Yeah.
what's next? What's next for you, Laura?
What's next? Like, yeah, I feel like now, like there's so many things happening, like I feel like energetically, yeah, all these amazing opportunities are coming my way. My fourth magazine cover story, I got it today, so more magazine covers apparently.
Yes.
So, yeah, like, so many opportunities are opening up. One thing that I would like to do, really, I'd love to run a spiritual retreat center, in Costa Rica, Bali,
Yeah.
now that we mentioned Bali. Yeah. And yeah, do my coaching and just, use my languages. I speak English, Spanish, Finnish, and Italian. So, I can coach people in many different
Yeah.
languages. So I want to, I mean, I'm a coach and I'm also very spiritual, right? So, I mean, my coaching is, it is spiritual. I mean, it's a combination of everything that I've learned and experienced. But I think it's important to bring in like the spiritual aspects of, meditation and,
Mhm.
pee and, yoga and combine
Yeah.
it all, right? Because it's all about mind, body, and spirit, combining all the elements and finding balance within it always, right? So
And plus, those are things that quietens you,
exactly.
keeps you still so that you have the mental capacity to really think. That's how I
Yes.
always think of yoga and anything. Even though I hated yoga at one point, I'm like, I don't get it. I can't stand still for that long. But I have learned over time to
Yeah.
just, sit and quiet my mind. And that
Yeah.
that is a form of yoga. To
It definitely,
yeah.
and in today's world, like we're so bombarded by information constantly, social media, the news, like everything. We're so bombarded by all of that I think it's really good and really important to take some quiet time, like, if you have like, turn off your phone, like turn off your phone for a bit and just, tune into yourself and do those meditations and really connect to that, to your higher self, to your inner knowledge, right? Because it's all there. But the world is so loud and full of distractions that most people don't do it, and then they get overwhelmed with everything that's happening in the world, right?
That's true. I always think of it like if you have a big bowl of soup or something, taking one spoonful, you'll eat it one spoonful at a time, right?
Yeah.
You could get burned if you go too fast, like the soup's too hot. But
Yeah.
to me, yoga and those kind of things is just slowing you down so you don't get burned all the
Exactly.
time. You come out to be a better person in the end.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, I
how
think.
can people get in touch with you, Lau?
Yeah. So, my email is lauracoaching@gmail.com, which is really easy to remember. I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn. My website is Laura Rinnankoski, so that's Laura, and then my last name Rinnankoski.com. My very easy Finnish last name, right? So if you Google me, you'll find me because I'm the only Laura Rinnankoski in the world. So it's very easy to find me on Google.
I found you, that's for sure.
Exactly, you found me.
But thank you for sharing and for giving a little bit about yourself and a piece of yourself to us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sandy. This has been great.
Oh, I'm glad I could help, and it's always interesting to hear. I hope you have many more firsts that are coming up, and
Thank you.
well wishes to you.
Thank you so much. You too.
This is Dr. Sandi. Thank you so much for sharing your journey on the first, where no two stories are alike, even if the circumstances are similar. Let this discussion serve as inspiration for others to show what's possible, and more importantly, to produce seconds and thirds.